Hello, it's me. So today's topic of conversation is charities. Shout out to Neil Sean, Daily News Headlines, for his article. Go over there and show him some love. Now, before we get started, I have my own views on charities. I think small local charities are much more effective than large behemoth type charities. And my yardstick for this is Live Aid. Now, I'm not claiming to be an authority, and I know that Live Aid has done much good. But I also know that there are many questions around that whole endeavour, because, as I say, when things become too big, they become hard to manage and wrangle. The incredible amount of exterior forces that impinge on these large charities is huge, not least of which the temptation to invest money rather than disperse it, as the charity would doubtless do if it was smaller. So, that being said, let's have a listen to what Neil has to say, shall we?
You know what I always find funny, chums, is the fact that, well, it's really the wrong word, really, funny, because it's absolutely devastating when you think. You see, many years ago, as many of you know, have been with me a long time, I've had many careers you have to have with this act. And the thing is, of course, you work in various sort of areas, whether it be theatre, marketing, record industry, all that sort of stuff. And I remember many years ago when to be part of the charitable record was a big thing, whether it was Children in Need or whether it was Red Nose Day. There was almost a fight between the big pop acts of the day to see who could get it. Now, even then,
That's a very, very pertinent thing to say, actually, because I remember all kinds of stories coming up about how lucrative it was to appear on comic relief. There's a saying here in the UK, it's probably extant elsewhere, giving is receiving, and it was never more true than if you managed to get on the comic relief bandwagon.
They're a lot greener, remember, a lot greener. You've got no idea that they are all making money behind the scenes, because while the donation was going from the record sales, that's once to take out the marketing, the manufacturing, the cost, the hair, the makeup, the cabs. You have been fleeced. But have you been fleeced bigger than this? And all while doing this, being fleeced as ever. Let me explain.
That last sentence made no sense.
Thank you so much.
Sounds like something I would say.
Welcome one and all brand new subscribers. It is always lovely to welcome brand new subscribers. New chums to the group. Be kind, make sure we're gentle, because of course we're a forceful company now. Absolutely. And the thing is, if you've not known to us before, you might think we're a bit daft waving to each other. But of course, we're not, are we? It's nice to have that.
YouTube channel communities are, for the most part, I think, very good things.
You've got nicotine-stained hair. I thought it's the sunlight. And then you pull up their picture and you think you could give Bela Lugosi a run for the money, but you're not allowed to say that back, are you?
I'd be quite happy if I looked like that.
Compliment each other with a
picture there.
Compliment. You might say the same thing, of course, about this particular charity. If you remember it and you live over here in the United Kingdom, these are the charities that young children gave their pocket money to, sat in tins of baked beans for hours on end, that sort of stuff. Meanwhile, thinking you're doing a good turn. And also wearing a ridiculous red nose. That's right, comic relief. Or comic no relief, as Lenny Henry was fronting it for many years. Now, Lenny Henry really put the seal, the tin hat on this particular charity, when a couple of years ago, as many of you know, Lenny decided to let the world know that they didn't need white saviours to rescue them. And why is it always...
I remember this quite clearly, actually. And it's something that had occurred to me in the years leading up to Lenny Henry making all that coming out. And... what we were treated to every Red Nose Day during the program was wealthy white celebrities being taken to austere African locations and interacting with children who were dying and starving, whilst all the while doing their best Mother Teresa impersonations. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm aware that the actors and actresses were in a very tough place. It's a dilemma. And it wasn't lost on me. Because it occurred to me after a while that I would just prefer to see the pictures of the kids without having a celebrity to press those emotional buttons with all the music crescendoing in the correct places. And do you know what? I think there's a possibility we'll look back on these large charity events and think, not the best idea. If we can't show the pictures of these children suffering and give freely without the added impetus and emotional leverage of a celebrity breaking their poor hearts over being there, then should we be giving it all? Anyway.
White saviours going out to Africa to make these films for their own, delectation. Basically, he wasn't happy with it. Lenny took charge and the whole thing collapsed, so you can understand. Now, if you don't know Lenny Henry, he bills himself as a comedian. And
I've never found
I
him
had
very
to
funny.
once sit through, I say sit through, like a lot of people, I abandoned it by the interval because he was doing one of his one-man shows, and it was pretty tiring to say the least. But nonetheless, some people might say that he did some good sterling work in order to put comic relief on the map. But if you look a little bit deeper, particularly, as I often say with charitable foundations and all that sort of stuff, you just have to follow the money. Well, guess what? Comic relief has been giving away over 400,000, yes, of your hard-earned cash, well, to make sure that people can fight deportations, the one that have arrived here illegally, on the boats, invaders, whatever you want to call them, 400,000 plus. And that's what we know, right? That's the interesting bit, right? Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Simply because behind the scenes, as you know, every year...
So BID has received more than £400,000 in comic relief donations and describes itself as a national charity that provides legal advice and representation to individuals, I'm assuming, right, so they're giving them legal advice and help to remain in the country, to get in and remain in the country. Okay, well, charity is a funny thing, isn't it? You give because you're helping people. And to be fair to Comic Relief, they never said they were just helping kids in Africa. I think from the outset they said that a large proportion of the money would go to good causes here in the UK. And on the face of it, helping people who come into the country with legal advice and, giving them tools to help them, navigate the system so that they can stay, sounds, as I say, on the face of it, to be a noble and ethical thing. And I think really it is. But there's always a rub, isn't there? The blade always cuts both ways. And what we find now is these people coming over in boats, many of whom are just unfortunates, who are genuinely fleeing some kind of persecution, and certainly they're fleeing poverty. We find a large group of young men who are the most mobile demographic on the planet, many of whom don't give a monkey's about where they've come from. They're just eager to get to where they're going because they see the UK as a bit of a soft touch. And frankly, with the assistance of BID, the charity, it is a soft touch. So, knowingly or unknowingly, BID are helping to create a situation which is less than ideal for many of the communities that these immigrants, refugees, find themselves staying in. And we've all seen the news headlines, and we know that amongst these people, some of whom, as I say, are fleeing legitimately, there are wrong-uns. There are just bad people who have no qualms about committing crimes. And the problem we have as a nation is navigating that. I believe that legal immigration is good. I also believe that illegal immigration is bad. What we need is a credible procedure which is up to the job to deal with these people in order to discern who is who. And those people who are genuinely found to be fleeing, who need assistance and help, welcome them in. Welcome them in. And for those who are not, who've travelled a few safe countries to get here to the UK, they need to be removed. By whatever mechanism the authorities deem rather appropriate and humane. But not here. Not here to cause trouble. I disagree with that. But I will reiterate, good immigration should be welcomed. That these people fleeing, whatever it is they're fleeing, if they are legitimately entitled to be here, if they tick those boxes, welcome them into the communities. It's important that we have that mix of good, honest people. My parents, and I hesitate to say this, were legal immigrants. They engaged with the system, they got their papers, and they had a good life here. My dad said that the UK was now his country. His heart still remained in his country of origin because of all the memories growing up, etc. But he owed much to the UK. And he was proud to say it too. He had no qualms over it. He integrated into daily life. And he played his part in the community. So, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do like and subscribe. And until next time, this is me signing off. Do look after yourselves.